Hi, Randolph from Randolph's Rants here. I'm in the ironbound section of Newark, and I'm just walking by this area. You see that row of houses there? They're built on the old right-of-way, as far as I can tell. I'm virtually certain of it. The old right-of-way of the old Jersey Central Branch that ran from downtown Newark to Jersey City, and that's why those houses are all in a row like that, on sort of an angle, very odd angle to the rest of the street grid. They were built, probably around 1980. The railroad was abandoned finally in about the mid-60s. Just to give us a little flavor here of the ironbound, a very packed area in Newark, the east of Newark, the east side of Newark here. There's the downtown. Very working class, many Portuguese people live here, people of Portuguese descent or origin these days. There's some parking for one of the many very nice Portuguese restaurants here. There are those houses again on the old railroad right-of-way, and we can see, you see, if we follow this, you see that building over there? That's where the right-of-way continued. That's also a newer building because the railroad ran here. And there are some newer buildings as well for the same reason. There's the other side of that same row of buildings we were just looking at. And as we walk along the path of the old railroad, this is where we are right now. And a continuation of the railroad. See, all these buildings are newer. Went right through here as we're heading west towards downtown. As we continue this way, which is west, we see some more new buildings, which are, I don't know, from around 1980 or something, sitting in the path of the old railroad branch. Continuing doing our trace of the right-of-way. That's we're looking south now. That's off to the east. We're gradually walking west. This whole thing is all sitting in that right-of-way, the old right-of-way area. Also, it's a newer building, maybe 45 years old. That's all. And just some more flavor of the ironbound section. Nice park across the way here. That's the other side of that building we just looked at. There are some more of the newer buildings sitting in the former right-of-way area as we are heading east. As we're heading west. This is the east side of the street. We're heading west to downtown. Got these houses are on that kind of like a caddy corner or something like that, some sort of angle. They're not flat facing the street in the same plane of the street. It's kind of interesting when they do that with buildings, I think. Don't you think? Actually, if we see the divergence of these buildings, that's rather surprising, and it's because apparently, I would say, because this is where the railroad started turning a little bit. You see, this building over here also doesn't have a 90-degree corner on it. It's obtuse. It's because apparently that building, as well as these, is influenced by the former existence of the right-of-way. The corners are either obtuse or acute, because the railroad right-of-way was running diagonal to the street grid, if you see what I'm trying to say. Same here, next street over to the west. More buildings set obliquely to the street. And apparently that's also what forced the front facades of the, basically of these many buildings to be not coplanar with the streets. It's the west side of the street. These are coplanar, these fronts, but look what happens when they do that. You see, this old building here, following the trajectory of the right-of-way, makes this big kind of useless triangular area, which they can only use for parking. And more such instances of these buildings. One more street over to the west, Jackson Street, that's what this is. All these odd angles, odd configurations, all because of the railroad. Building, which is old, okay, is a very odd shape. 90 degrees over here, a 90-degree corner, and then following the railroad over to the left here with an obtuse angle. Interesting, right? You see, we're getting a lot closer to downtown. Market Street, that's what street this is. Here, this is Adams Street, and there is, we're basically heading south again now, and we're going to be cutting across that railroad right-of-way area, the old area. But there is a bend in this street for whatever reason. There are some newer houses on the railroad right-of-way. It seems like the, well, it is the case that the old right-of-way area, as we are moving west, the right-of-way is veering sort of southwest. And here on the east side of the street, a whole bunch of newer buildings that were plopped down on the old right-of-way at those odd angles again. And that fence goes on that angle for the reasons we've already discussed. See? Just a nice old building, right? Walking back up north on Adams Street for a couple seconds. And we're getting very close now, as we can see, to the downtown. That is part of a wave of new construction. Impressive. What do you think? I like it. Bit of an odd location right next to the mobile gas station, but this is Monroe Street. Kind of gets nicer over here. Nice shade trees always help a lot. Now we're going south on Monroe Street towards the old right-of-way, cutting across. Nice ornamental ironwork on those old fire escapes, isn't it? Now, these new houses are in the right-of-way area. That's the east side of the street. And this open parking lot basically is what we have here in the area of the old right-of-way. Very acute angle again on this is the east side of the street, old building, the new houses, and then this parking lot, which is also on an angle. The wall of this parking lot, not perpendicular to the street, but makes it an acute angle with this front wall here. Same reason. For the same reason. How close we're getting? It's downtown, we're almost there. Heading west on Market Street. There's the new building going up. Excuse me, basically on the bend of the Passaic River, the lovely Passaic River. By the way, anyone who's from New Jersey knows that the Passaic River is basically a toxic Superfund site. And we're just going to finish off part one of our look at some of the remains of the Jersey Central Newark to New York branch with some nice detail on this building. This is the end of part one. Please subscribe, like, comment on, and share this video, and we'll see you on the next one.